It's
Hey.
me, Queen J, back with another episode of Let's Get Uncomfortable. And y'all know that we start with mindfulness before we go into the topic. But this topic is really awesome, and I just want to share it first. So, we're going to be talking about the importance of sisterhood and what that looks like, what it doesn't look like, how we can navigate around that, and why it isn't so important for us to have, especially as a lot of us are embarking on our healing journeys and things like that. So, I have two lovely guests, as y'all can see. I have Adelaide in the middle, and I have Na'tasha.
It's Na'tasha. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Na'tasha. I met these lovely women at the Black Feminist Symposium that was hosted at TUC in March. And it was pretty much all about revolutionary sisterhood and what that means and why it's important, as I said. But these two stood out to me because the work that you guys are doing is so incredible. And I felt like it mirrored some of my own, especially being at the workshops and seeing like how those different workshops played a part. Those were incredible. So I just wanted to say that first.
Thank you.
And yeah, of course, like I said, the work y'all are doing there's a reason why I chose y'all. There's a reason why I
Okay.
chose y'all because it's important work, and I think it needs to be highlighted. So that's why I chose y'all. But okay, so now we can get into the bit of the mindfulness. So now it is time to pause, breathe, and relax. It is now time for us to enter a space without judgment where we can be our true selves, share what we feel comfortable sharing, and open our mind to learning new ways about healing within this lifetime, whether that be the obstacles that we face, how we navigate around those obstacles, or whatever obstacles that we've overcome within our healing journey and the different pathways that we have taken.
Mm.
I think it's time for us to extend grace to ourselves and to those that are listening. This journey is not easy. Finding a sisterhood is not easy. So take your time and again, reserve no judgments for yourself. All right, y'all. I hope that brought y'all some peace, some woosah, that gave y'all a little bit of shake the jitters off. I don't know. I'm a little nervous too, probably because like I said, I really wanted to do this episode, and like I said, you guys are awesome. And so I was kind of fangirling a little bit when I met y'all, but
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I
thank you,
was
but don't be
just a
nervous.
little bit.
Don't be nervous.
Appreciate that. I won't. I'll try not to.
Yeah.
So let's start with why sisterhood? What made you
Mm.
guys go that route? Especially if like was it something that you guys didn't see a lot when you guys were growing up, or was it something that what drew you guys to sisterhood?
Are you referencing to like what we presented or like the work that we're doing or like sisterhood in general?
In general, in the context of the work that you guys are doing,
Okay.
why did you guys choose to focus on
Mm.
sisterhood specifically?
Want to go first or you want me to take a stab?
Go ahead, either
Um,
or.
you, I think our paths are similar. I'll go first. Sisterhood is a mixture for me. I grew up like an only child because I
Mm-hmm.
was born as my mother's only child.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I am the oldest of four children because my father has four children. We all have different mothers, and so we grew up in four different households. And I watched growing up my friends having noise in the background. They had siblings around who would do fun things with them. And I always had a level of like jealousy or envy of the fact that like it was always so quiet in my house. My friends with siblings, they were like, we wish we were at your place because our siblings are killing us. And so I think that I've always been seeking sisterhood
Mm.
because I did not have that growing up. And my little sister is 10 years younger than me. And so for a while, until that age gap reaches a certain point, it feels real large in terms of being a sister. And so when I got to Syracuse, which was my undergraduate university, I was searching for sisterhood. And I ultimately found that sisterhood, joining Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. However, but before joining Delta, I also found that sisterhood in my conglomerate sisters. I found that sisterhood in my Mufias, where I found women who I connected with along my life path who were committed to co journeying with me. And now, with the what I presented on and what I would hope to amplify with my life is that we
Mm-hmm.
all need someone. And
Yeah.
I want to be a sister to my Black sisters because we are all kindred spirits, and we at least we can be, because all skin folk ain't kin folk. But
Okay.
we could choose to be, because all of us are dealing with so many silent things that we may not share, and we could all
Mm-hmm.
use a helping hand. And how better would all of our lives be if every sister was willing, if every woman was willing to be a sister. And so that is how I came to sisterhood and advance it. And also because most recently, so the presentation I gave was really about how
Yeah.
sisterhood saved me. And so not
Mm-hmm.
only was I seeking sisterhood, I also want to expand on the fact that sisterhood saved me. And if you are out here without a sister, you might just drown without a life raft
Yep.
or a life jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So link up.
I
I
love
love
that answer.
that.
That was beautiful. Like that, I could not have answered that any better. Like that was beautiful. Adelaide, what brought you to choosing sisterhood, and why did you choose sisterhood?
So I think for me, I've always had a very complex relationship with my siblings. So
Mm-hmm.
I am one of five children and I'm in the middle. And so similar to Na'tasha, my
Mm.
oldest, well, you're older, but my oldest sister is 10 years older than me. And then the next
Wow.
one is 5 years older than me. We're all like 5 years apart. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've always been like, to me, I've always been very misunderstood. I'm like very all over the place. I'm a fireball. I just have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a middle child. And so I think that if anybody understands what it's like to be a middle child, you go unnoticed a lot, or you're like a troublemaker or something. So I feel like I didn't get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And even with my mom, like there was a lot of like I felt like I didn't get she noticed me, but I feel like me and her, two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so kind of like matriculating through high school, college, I've always just been this like misunderstood, sometimes rowdy, funny, just this like sometimes I can be healed. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that when I'm also in a sorority, so Z5B till I die. But I went to University of Toledo, and we
Mm-hmm.
had two groups for Black women. One was no, actually, I'm sorry, just one. One was called 4AW, and the rest were the sororities. But sometimes I feel like when we focus on women and sisterhood, it's just this idea of like you got to be perfect and you can't be with all these people, and like it looks a very certain kind of way. And I was like, well, what
Mm-hmm.
about the
Mm-hmm.
ones that's just kind of like just off the chain?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What about the ones that's off the
Yes.
chain? Like we don't really get
Mm-hmm.
looked at, and then when you do get looked at, you get put in this bubble.
Yeah.
So for
Yes.
me, I've always been very big on like I want to accept all the sisters, no matter where you come, like no matter where you at.
Right.
Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter.
No matter your GPA, no matter how much
Yeah,
money you make, no matter what clothes you wear when you pop out the
yes.
house, or the
No
music you
Mm-hmm.
listen
matter,
to.
or how many people you had sex with, like it just doesn't
Come on.
matter. Like you just
Yes.
you. So like how do you accept people where they at, and like how do you build that? So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm all about. And that's how I came into the work that I do at Miami Universities. I created this initiative for Black women called My Sister's Keeper. And so
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do is like a model off of me. So like I challenge a lot of like different conversations. I challenge a lot of different stereotypes. I challenge why we act the way that we act. So that's kind of how I came into sisterhood, and it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, how do you love your sisters where they at, even
Mm.
if you think they like, how do you love a city girl? How do you love a hot girl? How do you love a church girl? Like, how do we
Because
do
baby,
that?
I am both. Okay, honey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
baby, do not let the law degree fool you. I will still
yeah,
open wide
like,
open when Meg Thee Stallion come on. So
and period.
Okay. But I think there's beauty in that though. Like it's that duality of our personalities. Like we can also be very studious and we can also be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be professional and it's time to put that to the side. But we can also turn up every now and then. We can also,
Yeah,
you know, and I think there's beauty in recognizing both assets or both aspects of someone or even all the different aspects because it's probably way more than just 2.
right.
I just wanted to insert just a
Mhm.
moment right quick, because I am really big on words having meaning and significance,
Mhm.
and particularly names having significance. And so I just wanted to make sure, because I know you to be Adelaide. Now, is it Adelaide? How do you properly pronounce your name?
Like lemonade.
Okay, so it is an aid at the end. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you. So I was
I'm like,
saying
I
it. I
got
was
it
saying
right,
it wrong.
right? Okay.
So I was saying it wrong, and my name is Na'tasha. So
Yeah, I definitely messed
Na'tasha.
that up. So my bad, sis.
no, you're good. My thing is when it's new or like you don't like use it frequently, like you might stumble. But to me, it's all about being open and willing to like get it right. And I think it's
Mhm.
important what our mothers and our fathers or whoever chose to name you named you, and people should
Yeah.
say it right.
You're
Yeah.
right.
So
You're right. No, I like that. I like that. Well, y'all kind of touched on all the questions. No, y'all kind of answered everything. No, no, no. So when we say like we understand that sisterhood is important, but I guess so. I want to ask like, how did you find the right sisterhood, or how did you like what did that journey look like for you guys? Because I'm not of Greek life, although I would like to be eventually, but I have struggled to find the right sisters for a while. I'm actually the oldest in my family,
Mm,
and I have siblings that are under me, but the youngest is 10 years apart from me. The second youngest is like 2 to 3 years apart from me, but we're not on the same page all the time. So
right.
it's hard to find that bond on I don't know how to describe it. It's hard to have that peace there because there's always that, I don't know, just a little bit
Yeah.
of tension there. So
I'll,
how did it look for you guys trying to find that?
I can
I
jump in. Or you want
okay.
to go first? Go for it.
You got it. Okay. So I think like as I've gotten older, is
Mhm.
figuring out the things that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So if you and like figure out the shit that you need to work on.
Facts.
So like if you need somebody to help you, like help you to create boundaries, like
Mhm.
you need somebody to see like, hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed with my life and I don't know how to like create a boundary. Find your friend, find a sister that knows how to create boundaries and knows how to notice when you're not creating those things.
Mm.
I think it's also about knowing what your flaws are, and then finding somebody that can call you on that shit. So for me, like a big flaw that I have is I like to go in my bubble.
Mhm.
I'm a Sag, so I will. If I'm in a funk, I ain't talking to none of y'all. I don't care. And then when I come out my funk, then I'll come talk to you.
Turn up.
And I don't really
Because
care
y'all be
about
the life of the
nothing. Like
party.
I literally just don't care.
Mhm.
And so, but I've learned in my friendships that, girl, that don't like you. That's not a good way to show up for other people as a sister, because you get so worried about your damn self that like you're not worried about anybody else.
Mhm.
So I done got cussed out by some of my friends in a lovingly way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
chick, the way you don't want to check on nobody, but then when you in your little shit, you expect everybody to check for you, and I'm like, and dude, and don't see nothing
And
We
wrong with
do.
do.
it,
And can't
and
see,
will,
And
yeah, yeah. No, no.
right? But like so, but it's taught me how to show up as a better sister. Like, you can't just
Mm-hmm.
always think about yourself. Like, even if you're not being intentional about it, like, you can't only think about you. You got to think about other people.
Of
So I
course.
think that, like, finding people sisters who, like, can give you what you are, like, what you don't have and what you're yearning to get. Like, I would I treat it like a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So the same
Fair.
thing you're gonna look for in a partner, you should be able to look for that in a sister, and you
Mm-hmm.
should pour into them, and then they can pour into you. Um, and I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, but, like, sometimes it's very hard.
Yeah.
Like, it can be really hard. Sometimes you're gonna have 10 sisters, sometimes you're gonna have one, sometimes you have zero, sometimes you have two. So, like, being able to hold on to the good ones, and, like, knowing when you have
Mm.
a good sis, and, like, holding
Yeah.
on to that, because I just feel like, especially as Black women, these women is
Woo.
off. Some of y'all off the
Look.
chain, so it's
Okay.
hard. So yeah,
Right.
that's my. What about you, Na'tasha?
I like that.
So
Yeah, Na'tasha, your turn.
I'm a Cancer, so I'm gonna approach
Mm.
this completely different. Not that I disagree, I just have a whole different approach to sisterhood. Because,
Back.
baby, if you know anything or are blessed to have a Cancer in your life, we have a
Here we
whole
go.
lot of love and warm and
Mm-hmm.
fuzzy feelings to give. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
But y'all also don't
so
play. I have it.
we don't.
The one who's 10 years younger than me is a Cancer, and the one that's 2 years apart from me is a Sagittarius.
Good. I'm
Oh,
glad.
look at it was meant to be.
I know,
So
right?
look at all of, like, the stars aligning in this way. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to approach answering this in kind of a multi approach, right? Because I want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about, like, your biological siblings, like, and what you raised personally. But then I also want to talk about, in general, my approach to sisterhood.
Okay.
So I am the oldest sister. Well, I am the oldest sibling, and I have one sister and two brothers. My little brother is 2 years younger than me. Then my sister, who's 10 years younger than me, and then we have the fourth child, who is 20 years younger than me, and he has Down
Oof.
syndrome. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, because my youngest brother Trey, is still shared custodial, like, rights with his mom, we don't have the same relationship unless he's with our dad. But on
Mm.
what I implemented with my siblings was called Sibling Sunday. Every Sunday, one of us presses the group chat button on FaceTime. Now, do we always answer? Not necessarily. Is it typically me who be blowing up the phone? Yes.
Right.
However, there have been a sprinkle of moments they would press the button, or they would say, "I love y'all, happy Sibling Sunday." And it took some time for me to
Mm-hmm.
literally be like, "It's Sibling Sunday. How you doing? We checking in." Because to me, I guess one of my, I guess, overarching principles to forming any relationship, but
Yeah.
really sisterhood, is you get in what you put out. No, you get
Exactly.
out what you put in, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always been the person who's been willing to go over and above to create and foster community. I think I have a unique gifting to meet people and immediately form bonds to where I feel like I've never met a stranger, right? And I believe that if you ask enough questions and take sacred pause enough, you will find something that you can relate to with probably anybody, if
Mm-hmm.
you just so choose. So I put in the effort of calling every Sunday, or blowing down on them to make them feel bad for not calling me on a Sunday. Because I don't want a month of Sundays to pass and we haven't connected and I don't know what's going on with your life.
Right.
So I invite you to adopt something. Now, my siblings, we have the same age gap. This whole sibling Sunday wasn't something that we did until much more recently, right? Since my little sister has been, like, in the out of college, because now she is an
Mm-hmm.
adult. We are all three adults, and we can relate to each other on a whole different level than we were able to relate to each other
Growing
when
up. Yeah.
I was picking you up and holding you in my arms. So I
Exactly.
would just say, I would just say, hold on, sis. Eventually, they will catch up, and the feeling of that age gap will lessen, even though the time won't. Now, Another, I guess, point with fostering sisterhood, after that primary thing of what you put in, you get out. Adelaide, you mentioned identifying or getting sisters from based on what you need and what you need to improve on. I would also add form sisters based on what you like and enjoy and align with. So I went to college and I was like, yo, no one knows me here. I can be anybody that I want to be. And so I decided to do stuff I
Right.
had never done, right? And so I ended up joining a Caribbean dance team because I wanted to dance and I never had the chance to in high school. I'm not Caribbean. I didn't even know how to dance for real. It's a miracle that I made the team, okay? I don't know. However, by virtue of my presence, it as a part of this group, I built a sisterhood. Then
Mm,
that spanned to people being in just my proximity, like on my residence hall floor, going out of my way to just talk. Also watching women, right? So I have a lot of women who I admire and look up to, who are my sisters because they inspired me, and I aspire to have certain attributes and aspects of their walk be like mirror to mine. So I have stepped behind a lot of women and just watched, which led me to Delta. I mean, I had connections in Delta Land before from high school and stuff, but in terms of
mm-hmm,
it's different when you went on your campus and who's doing the work there and who you find yourself like having an affinity toward and who
mm-hmm,
embraces you. And the women of Kappa Lambda were the movers and shakers. It was a no brainer for me. I already was watching them. I didn't even know that I was who they were. And so that would also be my suggestion. And also being willing to pour, like, so in my presentation, I talked about the sister sphere, it being an intergenerational sphere of, because we oftentimes talk about a sister circle, but that's kind of
yeah,
like two-dimensional or whatever. But I say a three-dimensional sphere of having other women pour in, you link sideways with peers, and then you pour down to people who are younger than you and finding sisterhood below. Because sometimes when we get people who look up to us, it reminds us that we have a reason to be in the earth, and we've got purpose. And so sisterhood can manifest in so many different ways. So don't get discouraged if you can't find it in the singular way you may be thinking.
mm, I love that. I need to sit with that for a second because, like, I need to process that. No, because that was the beauty of the whole like symposium, was that it taught me so much that I had yet to learn about sisterhood and like what it looked like, especially when the guest speaker, I'm not sure if you both were there for the guest
The
speaker,
keynote?
yeah, the keynote speaker,
Yeah.
when she was talking about what sisterhood wasn't and what it actually was. That hit home for me because I think a lot of times, especially when we're trying to navigate around life and we're trying to find our circle or our people, and trying to advance or in our respective areas or whatever that may look like, a lot of times we'll focus on sisterhood from a different lens, and we'll tolerate the disrespect because it's like, oh, that's my sister, you know what I mean? When that's not necessarily what we should, I know that's not necessarily what we should be doing. But when Rhiannon was saying that it's not someone that's putting you down to make themselves feel better, or, she gave all those examples, I was like, well, hold on now, because I've seen sisterhood from a lens of aggressive. I don't know, like an aggressive type of way. I don't know how to describe it other
You
than to
got
say
it.
aggressive. Yeah, yeah.
What it is.
That's exactly what I've seen it as. So for
Yeah.
you to say that, they pour into you and you pour into them, and then you can pour downwards and it can be intergenerational. That's beautiful, because a lot of people don't think of it that way. So
No.
I think that
I
was.
have been extremely blessed
Mhm.
with the women, specifically Black women, but
Mhm.
some women, because there are a few honorable mention to my high school mom who is white. Um, I have about like 7 or 8 moms because I have moved geographically quite a bit for work, school, of different opportunities. And as a Cancer who needs love and has a lot of love to give, I find a mom, I find a community, and any of my friends will tell you once I latch, I do not detach. You are stuck with me and figure it out. You're going to love it here, so just settle in, okay?
So just
But
settle in for the ride.
settle in for the ride because I'm not going anywhere. Now that doesn't say that like some people don't trickle off. However, because I do think that it is important to not be disrespected in sisterhood. Going back to my point before, that whole colloquialism that talked about not all skin folk or kinfolk, like not
Yep.
everybody is gonna be your sister. And how and
Exactly.
I think we have with time and lived experience, you ultimately acquire the discernment to assess. Who are you? Can I trust you? You learn how to give people a little bit as a test to say, can you handle this in order for me to give you more? And as well as believing people, maybe the second time they show you who you are, so show you who they are.
The second
Now I
time?
know. So my only thing is only thing that I would say with the second time is I believe in reconciliation and like repentance. So my thing is somebody showed you who you are at that first point. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because I operate from the premise that I trust you 100% until you give me a reason not to. Now, some people
Same.
operate from the inverse where it's like I don't trust nobody. You about to have to earn this. But I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt to say you started at A plus, a 100%, and your actions can either maintain that A plus percentage or it can detract from it. And so we can start detracting. And as we're getting to know each other, as we are ridding ourselves of the filters that we may present to other people, especially during the beginning, for me to now get to see the real you, now we have some sort of event or action. Now, I believe as adults, we should be able to have a conversation and talk about it. Now,
Right.
because we all have our own shit, for lack of a better word. So if
You
I
right.
bring up to you that this is what you did and this was the impact that it had on me because of this, and I desire this change behavior in order for us to remain in a relationship, if that person then goes and changes that behavior in light of that conversation, to me, we can keep it rolling. Now, if they then, after the conversation, when I clearly communicated what I expected and needed and how I felt as a result of their behavior, now we don't have anything to talk about because I've already told you my piece. Because oftentimes people end up having expectations of people without communicating to people. No one is a mind reader, and nobody's baseline of what they expect as a friend or whatever is the same. So unless you are expressing to someone clearly and completely what it is that you want, how it makes you feel, etc., before they mess up, you have to teach people how to love you and treat you. They don't know you for real. They don't know how what they do can impact you based on your trauma that they weren't there for.
I also think that, like, when it comes to, I guess, sisterhood and stuff like that, I am very big on, like, knowing the difference between when somebody is disrespecting you and when somebody is challenging you and you get uncomfortable. I think sometimes I get real confused. You don't want nobody to challenge you. You don't want nobody to ask you why you act in a certain way. And so automatically, because you all of a sudden uncomfortable, because you used to being operating foolishness, when somebody check you, all of a sudden, I don't like you. I think
And
you
it's a
disrespect.
problem.
Now I think you disrespectful. But I ain't disrespectful. I'm just getting you together in a sisterly way. And so I think that when it comes to sisterhood, especially specifically with Black women, like it's not all lovey dovey all the time. It's
Of
really
course not.
not.
Not at all.
No, it's not.
It's not all lovey dovey. It's not all the pedicures. It's
No.
not going out getting cute.
Right.
It's just not. Sometimes your sister
Mm-hmm.
gonna get your ass together and you're not gonna like it. So
Yep.
I
Nope.
think, but at the end of the day, it's like, is she getting me together in love? Or
Or
is
is
she
it?
just being the act, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or
Yeah.
is this just now like disrespectful? I also do like what you said earlier about like giving people like your second time, because I'm the same way.
Mm.
I think that there are people who are big on like, what is the word that I'm thinking of, like their intuition, and I know that like you
Yeah.
don't always know that. So
That's true.
just because you got some little kind of feeling and all of a sudden they did, nah, I don't want to be friends, you gonna block off a lot of people thinking that you're always right, like you're always right about something.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe in, number one, giving people grace. You know, like if somebody messed up the first time, why did they mess up? Are they disrespectful? Was it an accident? Did they not know
Hmm.
me? Did I not communicate something? Like,
Yeah.
and being able to work through what that looks like, and also knowing that you can tell somebody how to do something. If somebody already doesn't know how to do something and they mess it
Mm-hmm.
up, and you tell them how to fix it, if they've never had to do it before, they are still going to make a mistake. And so trying to
Hmm.
figure out the difference between like, this person is making an active choice not to change what they're doing
Yeah.
versus I see that this person is trying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think that when it comes to sisterhood, a lot of us don't like to be patient. You don't want to be patient
Ooh,
with your sis. So she pissed you off the first time,
she
you
done.
check her, and then she
You
do it
check her and she,
again. You know what
yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, let just you know, not having patience. And for me, that's why some people swear they cut me off. I'm like, bye. I don't care, because it's just like, if you're not gonna recognize that I'm trying to make a conscientious effort to be
Mm-hmm.
better, and you just want to get rid of me because I'm not the package that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Well
Hmm.
then, boo,
Then
I
go ahead.
one thing about me, I don't care. I keep it
Ex-
pushing. So
exactly.
I think that's
Exactly.
another thing to always be considerate of. People are always changing.
Hmm.
Like, people
For
are
sure.
evolving and they're growing, and so if you love your,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my
And I
big
think,
thing.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think, I think what's coming up for me is that you also can't be afraid to outgrow and to shed a sister. Like, there are seasons in life,
Mm.
and there are people who are destined to be a part of your journey of life, whether that be for a moment, whether that be forever. Really surrendering to the will and way that God has fit for my life. Um, because Lord knows
Same.
I've tried to control that joint, and I'm at the point now where I understand the phrase "Jesus take the wheel." Because I'm like, you know what? I'm taking my
Me
hands off
too.
it. You got it, because I'm tired. Like, I clearly keep rerouting the
Mm.
GPS,
And
running
I'm
through
not
these
going
dead ends,
nowhere. I'm okay.
not
I'm
going
going in
nowhere,
circles.
going in circles, and I'm over it. So God, whatever, fine. You want me to quit
Mm-hmm.
my job with nothing lined up? You want me to start a business? You want me to go
Mm-hmm.
tell a complete stranger that I'm bipolar one? Like, okay, I'm gonna look a fool out here, but
I do it.
here we go.
Yeah, no, I
And
see.
if that growth and evolution that Adelaide you were talking about causes me to no longer be on the same path, like with a sister that I've known, whether it's been for a moment or for years, I have to be willing to let them go for them to complete their life path and their life journey. And that hurts sometimes. It hurts a
I was
lot of
about to
times.
say, is that easy? Is it easy to come to that decision, or does it?
No,
That's why I
I
it's
was asking.
I would
nah.
say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
No,
I had nothing beyond no.
I think that what I have found is that, for me, I don't know what it's like
yeah,
for y'all, but
for
like
you.
a lot, majority of the time when y'all have to go y'all separate ways, it's either it's always clear why. Like, it's not, you don't just wake up and be like, I ain't cool with you no more. Like, there's
Right.
and
There's some
everybody,
things that take place first. Got it.
either
Okay,
to
you got
me,
something there.
either it's like a mutual, like, sis, we ain't, that was a phase in our life. And sometimes you still cool. So like, I think about college a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
chicks in there, I thought they was gonna be at my wedding when I was
Me too.
18, didn't know nothing, right? Like, you don't know anything at 18. But like, I just knew, girl, we gonna get married and have kids. And then eventually you start to drift apart. But you sometimes you don't drift apart because anything happened. It's just life happened. Girl, you done went on and did your thing. I went on did my thing. And like, we check on each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, girl? That was funny. But then you just, y'all aren't what y'all used to be. And it's okay because you just kind of like moved on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, I think you're
Or
talking about
or
oh,
then or then there's a side of it where it's like a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And it is very evident that we no longer sisters because something has gotten violated at some point in time, and we don't rock the same way that we used to.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just think that, like, when you shed like that, to me it's not often like a surprise, and if it is a surprise, it's because somebody didn't communicate what that looked
Mhm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It ends in like a sad way. Like, I've had friendship breakups.
Me too.
I've had, and they suck, bruh.
They
You be
do.
like, dang, bitch. Like, I thought we was
I
cool,
thought we
and
was cool.
Locked in for life,
What
I
happened?
right?
just
What
knew
happened to
we was
this?
locked in,
What
you
happened
know.
to this? We didn't separated. I don't know.
And
No,
I
Locked
and
in
I
for
yeah.
life, and it was like life ended.
me, my biggest thing that I would love to see in sisterhoods is being able to just have the conversation before the breakup. Like, I feel like
Yes.
Thank
we
you.
don't do a good job at that.
Yes.
We don't have the hard conversation. It's kind of
Yes.
like we just ghost each other.
Yeah.
Correct.
Or the
We not willing to get uncomfortable. Huh?
Yeah,
Slow,
and just
right.
be
slow.
like,
Huh?
girl.
Huh?
Facts. Let's get uncomfortable, y'all.
So
No,
it
but for
it it
real.
hurt. It hurt. It's just a different kind of hurt.
It
Yes.
is. How would you guys okay. On the same note. Wait, did you have anything you wanted to say, Na'tasha?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to also express that I had two friends leave the group,
Mm-hmm.
like a friend group, and
Uh-huh.
that was so like it was such a new phenomenon because like my childhood friends, we've been rocking
Mm-hmm.
together since elementary school. Ain't nobody that fell off. Okay. Not the core of us
Okay.
who are there. And so this phenomenon that women in like my college years or later would just decide to not be friends. What do you mean? Like I don't we rocking
Yeah.
out. Like we can weather any storm together. So
Mm-hmm.
how are we not having this conversation and just all of a sudden you're not responding and in the group thread
Yeah.
anymore,
Like,
and it's like where you at,
excuse me.
like
That's
and
the
then
most
we having
annoying
to
part.
blow down on you, and it's like nah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not on that no more. Well, what happened? What do we do? Because then I'm trying to ask questions to figure out how did I harm you, because clearly there had to be some harm to have you walk away from this sisterhood
Exactly.
that I think is dope. What's going on? Because give us the
Yeah.
chance to like remedy it and reconcile, right? That multiple chances to say I don't want to lose you.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was your
But
question?
I know, I'm sorry that I keep
Oh
doing,
no,
like,
go
I
ahead, go
I
ahead, go ahead.
think one thing that I want to teach young women is,
Mm-hmm.
like, nobody trains us for that conversation.
Not at all.
Like
Mm,
like like
nobody.
Maybe we
I
need
have
one.
I have never been taught, hey, you don't want to be friends with her no more. This how we have those conversations. Like,
Mm,
nobody teaches you that.
No, you just go your separate ways, and if you see them in passing, you see them in passing. It is what it is.
Like, yeah,
right.
like, we just kind of ghost each
Which
other,
is
and it's,
annoying. It's so
yeah.
annoying.
Yo,
So
this is also checking me. I need to reach out to somebody. Because
do
I've
that.
definitely ghosted when I really should just address it. So thank y'all for convicting me, holding my
Yeah,
feet to the fire. I will
of
no longer be a
course.
hypocrite
Of
after tonight.
course. I
And
think it's I was just gonna say I think it can be challenging to do that because it is so uncomfortable to even because you don't know. First of all, there's two levels to the uncomfortableness. You're uncomfortable in yourself because you ain't ever done it before. But then there's the other level of uncomfortability where what is this reaction going to be like, or what is this? How is this going to change the trajectory of our dynamic? Are they going to be receptive to what I'm saying, or are they just going to leave me on red? And there was no point in me bearing my soul and trying to salvage the dynamic because that has happened. I have always been the person who has. I've had a couple of friendship breakups, but some that hit really, really close to home. And I was still trying, I was on the receiving end of trying to be like, well, okay, what's going on? What happened? No answer. I'm getting left on red. I'm getting the messages open. I'm like, well, what do I do? And I'm still coming to the girl's defense. And my friends are like, nah, don't even do that. Don't even do her like that. Cause she over here doing dirt on you. I'm like, no, y'all lying. Like I'm a ride or die person. I'm a Libra. So I'm rocking with you till the wheels fall off. Okay, you gonna weather the storm with me. We gonna talk about it, even if it's really uncomfortable. But that's just always been me and my nature. But not everybody is like that. Most people are like, I just don't really want to say anything, and they'll just go about their way. And that's why I think navigating around sisterhood is difficult for the most part. It really is.
I'm not. Go ahead. You got it.
Y'all
I was gonna
funny.
say I was just gonna say I'm a Libra rising, so that's why I was like, oh,
Okay. I don't
definitely
have any Cancer placements. I'm a
got it.
Virgo rising, and then a Sagittarius moon.
I'm a Capricorn moon, Cancer sun, Libra rising.
Oh wow!
I'm straight Sag through and through.
All the
All
way.
three?
All three?
Somebody pulled it, and I was
Wow.
like, ooh.
Adelaide, we need to get you.
Yeah.
What?
We need to talk about that. That's gonna be the next episode.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be the next
like
episode.
I can ride, but bitch, let me find out you trying to get out this car. See, like I just can be a rider till it's like, and now it's not time to ride. Like now it's not time. Like ride's over.
Party done. Eject.
And I'll be salty. I'll be like, damn that. But then I'm like, that was a good ride though. It was fun.
That's hilarious.
But my thing is, I think the beauty of even this kind of impromptu thing is, in sisterhood, it is I, and then there's you, and then there's the we, right? And we, even similar to the way we approach love, right? You find a new boo, what you doing? Googling your compatibility, right? To figure out, do we overlap in these areas? Can we make it work? And it's like, how can you get to know your sister in that same way? Figuring out, this is who I am and the attributes that I bring to the table. These are the values and the way that my brain is wired to default to these types of things. This is what I expect because this is what I give. This is my love language because I want you to love me. So how can you pour into, going back to Adelaide's point of what do you need, right? How do you want to be loved? What is your definition of friendship, and what are you expecting in this season? And can my sister, can that person agree to give you that? Because some people, I met, let me tell you, shout out to this my friend Nikhil. I met her at the University of Tennessee. I don't know how we got connected at first, but she flat out told me, I don't have capacity for any new friends. I said,
what?
I was like, wow. I was like, excuse me, I've never heard anybody say that before. And I was like, okay, well, you can cut the line can stop after me because I made the cut, but I'm not finna not be friends. So
I
you
made
can
the
put
cut.
you can tell the people that you not accepting the line afterwards, and we have a beautiful friendship to this day. But I was definitely impressed by her boundaries. So going back to my point, you meet somebody that you think that you really vibe with, want to get connected with, have a conversation. Who are you, sis? This is who I am. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I'm currently grappling with, what I'm looking for to do, and having a conversation. Do you have capacity for that? Or what is your capacity? Because I have some friends that I talk to every day. My line sisters, we get on a prayer call. We call ourselves the Shady Trilogy. We get on a prayer call every morning. we talking to each other multiple times a day, right? But then I have other friends who I may talk to once every 6 months, and it's all love no matter what.
It's still
So
love there, yeah.
figuring out where people are and who are they. Do we
Yes.
even view the same? Do we even view the world the same? Or can I understand your view because I know you? We just had a whole little kiki about her being a Sag through and through because
Yeah.
there's certain things about that we're like, wow, that's crazy. But what if
Mm-hmm.
you did that kind of information gathering in
Yeah.
your like a
And
friendship
your
application?
oh,
And sis,
yes.
I also, is it three y'all on the line?
Uh,
Like
it was
you
three,
said,
the Shady Trilogy, but then it became a choir because my back came along.
and I was just gonna ask you, are you the Trey? Because you give Trey energy.
Thank you, no, but I'm the dime of the line. I'm
Right.
the dime.
Well, so I fully agree with all of that because I'm very big on that. Like I feel like you should date free, kind of like, so what can you do? What can you give to me? What can I give? And I
I
think
like
that,
that idea.
yeah,
Cause that would save so much heartbreak
yeah,
if
Yes.
we
you
shopped around with the friendship instead of just being like, yeah, you my friend, and then I don't
yeah,
actually like the traits that you carry, or something like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
yeah,
that. That's
trying to,
I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. I like
oh
that.
yeah, trying to give, and that's how I I low key am not taking any more new friends. I have been standing on that for like a year or two. Like I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
want to marry y'all. I'm cool. I got solid 8 or 9. I'm good. And what I have found on the back end with some of my friends that's more like, just being loud, just I think like where I found that some of my friends had challenges with me,
Mhm.
especially with the like, you don't coming around, don't do this, don't do that. I had to have a conversation with some of them and said, let me tell you something. I don't know if y'all know this about me or not. Because another thing too is
Do this.
with these friendships is that you change. So the bitch you knew at 18 to 22, I'm not the same chick at 29. I don't roll
We
how
done
I used to
evolved.
roll.
Hopefully, we hopefully
A
have
little bit,
evolved. Yes.
and I can revert if I need to. No
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Okay.
But
No
the
problem.
point is that like I used to be able to be down for the kicking. I'm not down for the kicking no more. So being
Mhm.
able to like have those like evolving conversations. And so now,
Mm-hmm.
like the last few years, I'm like, listen, if you in an emergency, call me. I'll be there. If some shit happen to you, call me. I'll be there. I'll figure something out.
Mhm.
Like, but as far as everyday situation, every weekend, I ain't heard no more. Because then what you find is that some people don't like that no more. They
Right.
can't, and so that's why it's like, okay, since I love you, so I'm gonna love you from a distance. So
Mm.
I think like, I really like that you said that because since I'm literally the same way, like about the capacity thing. And I think that sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
capacity like gets tough for people because they expect you
Yeah.
to
Be there.
all, and it's like, no, we not. I can't do that anymore. It don't mean I don't love you. It's just that I ain't got that. So this is what I can give. So if
Yeah.
you can't subscribe to this, we can't
Right.
be besties
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm gonna
I
just hurt
have
your feelings.
facts. I had when I
Yeah.
first heard that, one of my friends, she told me that her and her other friend, they'll check in on each other, right? But they'll
Mm-hmm.
usually be like, "Hey, do you have the capacity to listen to me vent today? Or do
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
have the capacity to listen to me just I don't know.
Don't.
Do you just
Go
Yeah.
off.
yeah, I just need to dump." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I found that my relationships with my sisters and like my friends has grown to where now we just check in. Like if we don't check in, we're like, okay, so girl, I ain't talked to you in a week. You okay? Or a month? You all right?
Yeah.
You okay? I'm just checking in on you, and it's okay. Whereas before, I feel like in college when I was so uncertain of who my
Mm-hmm.
tribe was, I was glommering onto everybody
Yeah.
because I was just like, well, I don't know what I need because
Mm-hmm.
my upbringing, I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know what a friendship actually looked like, especially because my upbringing had a lot of trauma that a lot of people
Right.
didn't know about. So when I got older and they was like, oh, they was finally seeing it for the first time, I was like, hey, I've been going through this for like 17
Ever.
plus years. Like I'm,
Yeah. I ain't new
I'm
to this.
like,
I'm true to this.
I'm true to this. That's what
I'm
I'm
true to
saying.
this. Okay. So it was like, oh, well, now I have to kind of let them in. And that was different for me. So like, especially like I said, when I went off to college, I was like, okay, well, we can't be letting everybody in, but we can let down the guards a little bit. And luckily I still have some of my friends from college, but it was definitely a journey to have to navigate around because I didn't know about me taking care of like pouring into myself and pouring into others. I was just constantly giving, until I had nothing
That
left.
get old. And
Yeah.
another thing that I would say to that point too,
Mhm.
or is that like, bruh, the older that you get, I'm telling you, you can't. I've had so there's a girl named Jessica. She was
Mhm.
my very first friend. So you know how you have a memory of something like you
Oh yeah.
remember. That was my first friend. Like I was like, it's like I learned what a friend was, and I was like, oh, that Jessica's my friend. She's my first friend ever.
Mhm.
Right.
I've known her since I was like maybe 5. I think 5 is when I realized like, oh, this what a friend is.
Yeah.
We've been. She's my childhood best friend. Do you know we have a shared reminder? She
Mhm.
got 3 children.
Mm.
You
We have a shared reminder. We check in every 3. We do a quarterly check in. I have another bestie, Felicia. She live in
Mhm.
Minnesota. We talk once or every 2 weeks. And then if
Mhm.
I'm like, girl, I ain't got it to do, I'll call you in 2 weeks. Like that's how we do. Me and
mm-hmm.
Jackie. She live in Cincinnati, but we have to
Hey
get on the
Jackie.
schedule. Hey Jackie, we have to get on the schedule. I'm actually
Mhm.
going
Mm-hmm.
to see her next, this weekend. My line
Mhm.
sisters, we like, hey, we can talk once a month on the third
We
on the
got to
last
sketch.
Sunday of the month.
That's what we do too.
That's how
I
you
love
gotta do.
this.
That's how
I
you
love
But
gotta
no.
do
this.
stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
So I honestly was about to say the same exact thing,
Yeah.
or a really related point, because it's
Mhm.
twofold. As you evolve and more time passes, you
Yeah.
become a different person and you take on different responsibilities. As women, when we think about it,
Mm-hmm.
we are women. We are daughters. We may be sisters biologically or sisters to each other. We may evolve
Mhm.
and then become wives. Then we may become mothers. And as we become more, we may be CEOs and founders and C-suite
Yeah.
executives or any of these things. And as we are more, as
Mm-hmm.
women, the pie of 100% of our capacity gets smaller and
Yes.
smaller and smaller. And so then it goes back to my original point of, in terms of with sisterhood, you get out what you put in. Now,
Yeah.
when your pie is divided up so many places, you got to be that much more intentional. So, baby, if it ain't on my calendar, it ain't gonna happen. So, yes, I love you down. Line sisters will cross the burning sands and will come hell or high
Mhm.
water anywhere you may need me. But we're going to have to schedule this monthly call on the third Sunday of every month after church, because if we don't do it, we may not
It's
ever
not gonna.
happen.
Yeah.
Right. And the same thing. So my oldest and my best friend is Christina. She recently 2 years ago had her son Cairo. And so
Mhm.
now I am the only one of my group of 8
Mm-hmm.
childhood friends who don't have kids. And
Yeah.
so their lives
Same.
are completely different than mine.
Yeah.
Some of them have been or are married. They have multiple kids. Like the oldest are like 17 and seniors in high
Right.
school.
Oh,
And so
whoa.
it's like, because
That's
I'm
different.
turning 35 in July, so pray for the 89s, okay? It's a big
No
number.
I
way.
love
Yes,
to see
you
it.
shocked, honey. It's
I'm
okay.
shocked because you don't look like that at
You
all.
don't.
Black
The
just
way
don't
the
crack,
way the way
okay?
you look 25.
That's what
Thank
I was about to
you.
say.
The way you
25,
look
bruh.
25.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
I
is
am
So
not.
wild.
if you're listening, black doesn't crack.
Not at
It does
all.
not, honey.
Okay?
It gets golden and
Listeners,
better.
black
And
does not
so,
crack, okay? Oh wow.
yeah, so as you think of, like, as I'm preparing to like turn this
Mhm.
like next milestone age
Yeah.
and continuing to, like, I've also had to revamp my sisterhood
Yeah.
and community, right? Because my sisters, though they love me and will be there for me whenever I need, they don't have the same capacity that they once had.
We can't do it
Yeah.
all
They can't do it
unless
all. And it's up to
yeah. Go ahead.
and it's up to me for my own personal health and well-being, if I still need sisterhood, to go find some more, right? Rather than making the sister that I've already had feel bad for not doing what they just can't not do. So take some ownership. Go out and find a new friend. You an adult, go meet at a mix-up. Go play volleyball on Sundays. Go do the things that you do and enjoy, to go find some new people.
Talk about it,
You
because most people
you
would just stay
can't
sitting in the house. Most
listen,
people
because
stay
my
sitting
thing
there.
is, one thing that I'm also learning for my personal self, as I'm learning how to continue living and attempting to thrive with my mood disorder, is I'm not the same woman I was pre my diagnosis. Just how, and that's not a bad thing. I have just
Yeah.
evolved and I'm different. Just how any of my friends who are not the same of who they were before they were married, before they had children, they are now new beings. Now, there are core fundamental properties about themselves that are never going to
Yeah.
change, but they are different women. And that different version of them has a different capacity and will show up in the earth different. And if I'm really their sister, can I love them no matter what iteration they are and evolution? Because I am committed to our sisterhood. To say, whether you can kick it at the roller drum on Friday night and go to Waffle House, like, or we sitting at the house changing diapers. That's
Right.
what we out here.
Right.
And
It doesn't. Yeah.
I'm right there with you, because
Facts.
one of my biggest pet peeves ever is when people make the comment, you only make time for what you care about. Well, motherfucker, how about I just don't have the time?
Right.
So I think that another big part in these friendships and sisterhood is understanding that, like, just because somebody, their life has changed, to you, you're talking about your mood disorder. People get married, they get kids, they done started school, they gotta have 2 jobs. If she's really your sis, it does not mean that she don't love you any less. It doesn't mean that she's not less of a sister. It just means that, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm listening.
It
I'm on
it
every word.
it just
Right. I'm hanging
means
on.
that, yeah, it just, like, I love you talking about this pie. Like, it just means that she got more shit on the pie now.
Like, ain't no
And
pie, bitch. Ain't no pie. Ain't no pie for you.
you keep playing, you're not gonna be in the pie either. So I
Literally.
think that, like, I'll cut you out of here, and keep it pushing. Like, I really think that that is something that a lot of women struggle with, is
Oh
that,
yeah.
like, the minute you see your friend don't have a lot of time for you, now all of a sudden you feel like she not your friend no more.
Or she too busy to make
She
time for
too
me.
busy. But if you
That's
were
what I
my,
hear all the time. She too busy.
No,
You ain't.
people getting jealous that you getting too big. And it's like,
Yeah.
root me on, or find a way to align it within my time. My thing is,
Exactly.
because my thing is, I hate when people don't stop at that first option. My thing is, for me, maybe it's the lawyer in me or whatever, but no is never a no to me. I don't accept no. You can say no, but I'm gonna find a way. Like, you close the door, bitch, I'm coming through the window. Like, I'm not, if I need to be on the inside, your one way is not the only way that I can do this. And so,
That's true.
for example, I have a good friend here, Lauren. I went to law school with her. Lauren has 2 kids. She lived well outside of the city. If you know anything about Atlanta, people say they live in Atlanta and then they live an hour away up, like, in like other
Yeah,
places.
I've
Okay,
learned that so
she
far.
she lived she lived like one of them, right?
Okay.
And we haven't seen each other in person in quite some time, and we're trying to work together with some things. And at first she would say, oh, like, we can just do virtual, but I'm like, because she got the kids, and I said, let's go on a walk and take the kids in a stroller. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in
Your
communion with
space,
you in
yeah,
your
in
space.
community, yeah, yeah,
So, like Adelaide, like you talked about, how can I meet you where you are? You have
Yeah.
kids
exactly.
that we can't get rid of. I don't care if I want to go to a Sunday fun day brunch. If I want to be
Mm-hmm.
with my sister and my sister cannot leave her children, I'm going to be out here running in the fountain at the park
It's
and
called
talking
being
Yeah.
to my friends.
accommodating. It's
It's
called
called
being
it's
well,
It's called being
accommodating
a
or
sister.
amenable or flexible. Yeah, it's called being a sister. But I feel like there's so much rigidity in sisterhood, like the colloquialisms and all that, and like that's where the aggression comes from and stuff. But when
Mm-hmm.
they remove all that and they realize, oh, we can be flexible in our sisterhood. It doesn't have to look just one way. It
Mm-hmm.
it
is so
it,
much more
it,
beautiful.
it
It is so much more
yeah,
beautiful.
it
Cause
doesn't
my
have to.
yeah, my childhood best friend, she actually has a daughter, and we make time for each other too. We check up on each other on Instagram. We'll send each other messages back and forth. I'll talk to my goddaughter and everything. And that dynamic has never like changed, like the core dynamic, but it has grown as her child has grown. It has grown as, different circumstances have come about. But I've been like she'll ask me, "Can we just have a girls' night?" Yeah, we can have a girls' night.
Hmm.
Your kid gonna be with us though, but we can have a girls' night. Like, I'm like, we gotta find a babysitter if you want that to happen, or we can get a hotel. She can, you know what I mean? We can make this work.
And
Go
and
ahead.
Go Adelaide, and then I'm gonna follow.
and I also want to say this too, because
Mm,
I've had to learn this myself, is that
mm-hmm.
when there are moments when you are being flexible, but then you generally feel like, now, sis, I need you like to, hey, I
To
love
bend
your
back.
kids. I love your kids, girl, but you think we can find a sitter or something? Like, there's ways to, because sometimes it is true. Sometimes you just miss your sis, and you like, I
Oh
don't
Mm-hmm.
want
yeah,
to
of
be. I'm
course.
not trying. I done accommodated,
I need a
and
second.
enough is
I get
enough.
it.
I'm ready to do something a little different. I think the biggest thing is the communication piece. I think
Yes.
that's the biggest part. Like, hey sis, I miss you. I know that you have a lot of stuff going on. Is there any way that you
Mm-hmm.
can just make one day for me? I'm really having a hard time. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
people don't want to communicate. And then you get
Right.
Yeah.
mad when, you know what I'm saying? So I think like, you don't always have to do the bending. Like,
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
but then sometimes it's okay for you to say, okay, I done did this. Is there any way that you can be a little bit more flexible with me? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's like,
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to recognize when your sis got stuff going on. I remember I was want to cut somebody off. I was just like, girl, I'm having a whole mental health breakdown,
Mm.
Yeah.
and you in here worried about, chick, I don't care about you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Right.
care about you. I don't care about hanging out. Like, I'm not doing that, because what's going on up here ain't it. So like,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How
and
about you
then the
check on that first?
and the,
Exactly.
and the crazy thing is that when you actually do check in, like me and my sons, we were supposed to have a check in this past Sunday, and I straight up said, "Listen, Sans, I love y'all, but I'm really going through it, and I don't have, I literally just can't. It's too much for me." And they were like, "You get it, love you." Come to find out, half of them was like, "Shit, me too." Like, we all going through the same thing. So it's crazy how, like, when you communicate,
You see
you
where
know,
people are. You see where
and
they
so
are.
yeah, I'll let
So
you go.
question. No
Hmm.
question. It's a
Yeah.
question for you to continue having the floor. After you all communicated, did you all end up checking in?
Right.
Did you have the
Well,
conversation?
this we haven't followed up on that yet, but
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
when, because it's four of us, and when the
Okay.
two, when Aaliyah and my kids said me too, you know what I'm saying? And my Trey, she's
Uh-huh.
about to have a baby, so it's kind of just like, at that point, when you know that, and for example,
Mm-hmm.
this is just a conversation about just like mental health.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
when you recognize that, oh, everybody is going through this, because we were all trying to, because I'm the big person, I'm similar to you, like, I'm the big, we need to talk, let's go, we need to get together. And so and so
That's
everybody's
deep.
trying to make sure that they do their check-in. But then
Yeah.
when you
Right.
realize and you have a conversation and you realize, like, wait a minute, like, I'm not the only one. You don't feel bad no more. So then,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
now,
no.
now that I know
Oh.
that, oh, y'all going through y'all funk too. When we get back to it, you don't feel the pressure of, oh, I wasn't being a good sister, because
You
come to
feel
find, you
you
see what
feel
I'm saying?
comforted. You feel yeah,
I
yeah. You
do.
feel comforted in that. Like almost. It's a bit comforting when you realize there's comfort in the spaces where you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah,
real.
because
And so,
I sorry,
no. I just wanted to, well,
go
say
ahead.
what you're gonna say, and then I'm gonna wrap it. I'm gonna respond because I have an invitation / challenge.
Okay.
I think that, and this is something that I hate. I hate when you feel a pressure in a friendship. I hate
Mm.
it. I hate
Yeah.
when you
Come
feel
on,
this
talk
this
about
this
it.
pressure
Talk about it. Touch on it. Talk about it.
of like, what if I don't check in? What if I don't do this? What if I don't do that? Like, there's this
Mm.
pressure when really
Yes.
it should just be freaking grace. It really
Yeah.
should
Whew.
just be grace, and be like, she'll come around when she, because you know what I'm saying? Because, like, so that's
So,
how I feel. Go ahead.
I
so
like that. I want to
I
expand on that, but go
resonate.
ahead.
I resonate with so much of what you're saying, especially someone who's living with a mood disorder. Going back to that
Mm-hmm.
point, because my mood disorder is characterized by periods of mania, which is like high elevated moods,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
depression, like severe depression in low
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like low spaces. And so, but I'm going to circle us back to something that you said in the beginning, that you basically have a charge for, and like your underlining principle of your whole life is meeting women where they are and accepting
Exactly.
them where they are, right? And so I'm challenge you to say, why not apply that in this situation? Because the pressure that we end up feeling is because we think we have to put on airs, that we have to show up with our sisters in a certain way, that when I am depressed, I therefore don't deserve to be in a setting with my sisters because I may bring the energy down or I have nothing to give. When
Mm.
really, if we're all sinking low, bitch, let's sit on the floor together. We don't have to say shit,
Exactly.
but it's this, we're in it together. And as someone personally, as the crab that I am, that
Yeah.
literally self isolate, it's a trick of the enemy. Of course, he wants us to be alone when we need connection the most. And so, how can we challenge ourselves to say, listen, I don't have the capacity to be that big personality that I am typically
Mm-hmm.
or have a lot of joy, but what I can have is just space and hold it here. Let's get on the FaceTime. And who knows? After let's just twerk to some music. Let's put some music
Facts.
on and like change the atmosphere, or just say, hey, sis, you want to talk about what's going on? Do anybody want to talk or share?
Yeah.
Even if we don't come up with solutions, does anyone want to talk? And it just might surprise us that leaning into the sisters that we have
Mhm.
when we don't think that we're deserving or should do it, maybe, just maybe, like, it'll be exactly what we need.
That's strong. That's
I
powerful.
were you Go ahead, sorry.
And my thing is, I'm just throwing it out there. It's also something that, like, I don't necessarily do, but I'm trying to learn to do. Because
I like that.
I am such a person that's like, I go ghost. Like, so
Yeah.
I experience hypomania, which
Mm-hmm.
or not hypomania, it's rapid cycling. So
Yeah.
I cycle between periods of mania and depression every 2 weeks. I'm going like this. I'm very grateful that this podcast came on during a manic uh little
Well,
space,
I'm
because it's like,
glad.
oh, I get to be this great version of myself, rather than feeling like, oh shit, I signed up for this and now I have to make myself show up to try to put
Mm.
on this mask, when really it's just like, this is the totality of me, and oh, depending
Yes.
on the day that you catch me is the version of the me that you will get. And I just pray that if you are my sister, that you would love me through it all. And if I'm honest and can communicate the truth about where I am, can you meet me there and still love me? Because I need to be reminded of who I am. Be that
Exactly.
mirror that I need to remind me that I may not feel it today, but I always am. Run the list down. Run the list down.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
and I do love that. I think it's good to sit in some shit together sometimes.
It
Mm-hmm.
is.
Like me
It
and you, we on
is.
the same little sad boat. Like I
Same
think
on the same
like
wavelength, you know?
so, and this is a tough wave, and I can't swim, so I guess you know what
We're
I'm
just gonna
saying.
drown together
We
for a
just
second.
gonna be
That's
here.
all.
Um,
Yeah.
but for me, with that, what I wanted it to get through with is that like
Mm-hmm.
being able to have sisters in your life who, when you say I ain't got it, it's oh fucking K. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you see
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like there's not
Yes.
Yeah.
there's not another expectation, and they respect it, because I
Correct.
have had people who don't want to respect any of it. Like
Okay.
you have people who, I'm
They
feeling
asking
like this,
questions.
and hey, I just want to be left alone right now. Like I love you, but I just want to be left alone. Well, you don't care about me, and you don't feel like you can talk.
Okay. That's definitely different.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I think, and so that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about with
Mm-hmm.
what sisterhood is not. You should
Correct.
not
That's
feel
what sisterhood.
pressured.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like there
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
not be
Yeah.
this pressure of like, and I think that that's what I have experienced a minute ago, where it's
That's what I
just
used
like
to.
you
Yeah.
feel this pressure to put on and put. You just gotta. It's like you gotta like produce. It's like, chick, I don't want to do none of
Like I
that. I
don't.
just want to. You see
I
what I'm
want to be.
saying?
I want to be.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
I
like
want to
that's
just
had
be. Go
I feel
ahead.
like oh, okay. I feel like that's what I was about to say is I feel like that's something that I have struggled with within my previous friendships. I used to be like there was a time period like in 2018 when I was mad depressed. Mad depressed,
Look, me
mad
too.
just very down. And I mean down to the point where if it wasn't for my best friend, my sister friend, I don't know what would have happened, okay?
Oh yeah.
But I had a friend in that moment, or a person who was in my life at the time, who I considered to be a friend, and would later reveal that it just wasn't right. But I had someone in that time basically try to take credit for pulling me out of the depression, even though I would have got myself out of the depression. Yeah. So I had to, I don't know, because when I'm depressed, sometimes I'll be depressed and then I'll have moments where I'm like, okay, I can actually get a little bit of stuff done and then I'll go back to being depressed. You know, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a little bit of productivity, I don't know. But when I have those moments, when I was in that time, in that space, I was constantly judging myself, constantly being hard on myself. And I just needed someone to just sit in it with me, and nobody wanted to do that with me.
Mm-hmm.
I got, you need to get up out of bed. You need to do stuff.
Yeah.
Your room is a mess. And I'm like, I don't have it in me though. If you want to clean, then you clean.
You
I
can
can't
clean
do it.
it.
I can't
What's
Right.
do it.
bothering you so damn bad?
Exactly. But I
Yeah.
think there is extreme beauty and strength and resilience in those friendships where you can be like, look, can we just not today?
Table this. Yeah.
Can we just sit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
think that's oh, go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
for those who don't experience the depth of the darkness that we experience
Oh my
in
gosh.
our depressive episodes,
Mm-hmm.
they have no idea
None.
how dark and how low it can be, nor why we go so hard when we dance in the light. And it is unfortunate, and I would hope that with self-proclaimed like IG TikTok therapists, as we throw out these terms and stuff more often, and people are more honest, and that's even a part of so with Mosaic Masterpiece why I am
Yeah.
so adamant about being honest about my truth in terms of my
Yeah.
diagnosis and not being afraid to call it what it is, because I want people to see it. I want people to recognize that, like, look, I can feel like I'm on a mountaintop and can change the world on
Yeah.
Monday, And on Wednesday, I cannot want to shower or eat
Yeah.
or have thoughts of harming myself and no longer being in the earth. And it
Yeah.
can happen that fast. And it
It
could
can.
take me weeks in
To
order
get
to come out
yeah.
of it. Right.
Yeah.
And, and as women, as we have this conversation, like, talk about not only if you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, but we all have cycles, like our menstrual cycles, that hormonally throw off balance things, plus
Yep.
our external like stimuli. And it's like, no wonder we got all the things that we're dealing with.
We
Like,
don't get a
it
break.
never get a break. And so I just think that it's really important for people to really hear and see people's truths and to say, look,
Exactly.
if I tell you I'm experiencing this, yes, try to affirm me and remind me of things, but don't discredit or discount where I am. Just sit with me in it.
Yeah.
And when I'm ready to walk out of it, because I will, like, the darkness doesn't last. Like, I don't know if y'all listen. I think one of my favorite songs on there is the song Just for Fun, where Beyonce
Mm.
talks about that time heals everything, that
Mm.
I don't need anything. Like, I'll get through this, or I just need to get used to it, right? And to
Mm-hmm.
me, those were such affirming words and reminders to say, yeah, time does heal everything. It heals that breakup. It balances those hormones. It balances the chemical imbalance, depending on if you were on or off your meds. Like, eventually, you will get past and through this storm.
Even though
Because
it feels like you don't. Even though it feels like you can't. Like in the midst of it, I'm
correct,
saying. In the
yeah,
midst of
even
it,
in the
it's
midst
hard.
of it. And it's like, oftentimes the only way to get on the other side of it or out of it is to go through it.
Mm-hmm. My mentor told me that my mentor in 2018, I was freshly met her on campus, and she was like, "How you feeling?" And we was doing these check-ins. And I will never forget that she sat me down and I told her what I was going through, and I was like, "Well," and I said it so fast, like I just blurted it
Mhm.
out, like I was just talking about the weather, and she was like, "Huh, okay, I'm gonna clock you on that though. I'm a hold on. You ain't about to just slide past. You ain't about to say what you just said
Right.
and us not
And
address
keep
it."
it
So
moving, right?
we addressed it, and when we addressed it, she said, "You have to go through so that you can grow through. You have to go through it so you can grow through it."
Ooh,
And I was like, "No,
yes.
I don't. I can go around it." Like at that
Can
point, I was
chicken.
okay. I was suppressing everything, and she was like, man, she would sit me down. We would have like monthly check-ins, and she was like, "Where your mental health at? What level we at?
How many
Where you at
spoons do you
today?"
have today?
Yeah,
How many?
I would never. Oh man,
Huh?
you
Yeah, how
asking me
many
for
spoons?
real?
Huh?
I said, "Are
Adelaide?
you asking me for real?" Because I'll tell you.
No, I didn't hear what they said. I didn't hear what like how many
No,
what
go ahead,
you
say it
got.
Uh-oh.
again.
It was how many spoons? So there do you have today? So there is the spoon theory. I don't know who
Oh,
created it, but the idea is out of 10 spoons or out of
mm-hmm.
100% capacity, what do you have? And they actually enumerate kind of the different areas. Like, if you've got one
Oh,
spoon to give
mm-hmm.
today, then that's going to be a basic function of getting you showered, brushing your teeth, and putting
Got it.
on clothes, right?
Ah,
If
okay,
you've got
okay.
7 spoons, maybe you can actually go socialize at happy hour and return some calls and like finish that thing on your to-do list, like the laundry that's growing in your closet, right?
Ah,
So
okay.
the idea is checking in with yourself to say, what is my daily capacity? And with my capacity
Mm,
today, what can I get done?
Got it.
What
wow.
is feasible for me? And it's also a way to communicate. And it's something that my line sisters and I have been incorporating. Because if
Mm-hmm.
they see me laying in the dark, they like, okay, how many spoons you got? And I'd be like, 2. And they like, and then they just stop. Like, there is no
It's
further
nothing else to
get out the
say.
bed, get out the bed. It's okay. You're
She
in the
got
bed
to cook.
today. We're happy you press join on this FaceTime because you use your spoon
Ah,
to do that. Because I could have sat in the dark and not answered,
that's true.
right?
That's
And
true.
so it's a way to communicate and kind of almost also negotiate to say, hey, I hear that you say that you have 2 spoons. Can we use those 2 spoons to get you to go shower?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get you those 2 spoons to go upstairs and make you something to eat? Or I'm going to get food delivered to you so that all you have to do, because you only have 2 spoons, is go answer the door. And so now it turns into a way in which your sisters can support you and talk to you and
lift you up.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. See, y'all making me implement some things in my head. I already got some things. I have to call my one of my friends after this, but I'm definitely, because I know she's gonna need some support. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm gonna ask her what she needs, and I'm gonna just ask her.
Yeah.
Ask her, because this I don't know how to navigate around, so I'm gonna just ask her.
Do your best. You ain't gotten. I think that at least when it comes to mental health, is that at the end of the day, it's the person who has to navigate what that is. So you can want to solve all your sister's problems, but you can't. So I think that as long as you do the best that you can do, and it's not, it ain't overwhelming you. It's not, because what you don't want to do is do too much. Now you done mess some shit up doing too damn much.
Exactly.
You drowning trying to save your sister.
Right. And now we both look dumb because you trying to do too much.
Now we need a life jacket, both of us. That's
so
not what we want.
If the best thing is, hey, I'm gonna just send a text. If the best thing you can do is, hey, I just want to let you know I love you, that's the best you can do. It's okay, but you don't have to
overextend.
Yeah, I mean, we gave a lot of tips today.
Oh yeah,
right.
Girl, you just take one.
I'm taking all of them. What you mean?
I'm just saying, because sometimes you want to try to do it all. You can't do it all.
You get overwhelmed.
It takes time. It takes time to grow into some of these things. So, child, the way you find one little thing to work on that
is enough.
Take one little nugget. That's what we saying, listeners, warriors, all my warriors. Take one little nugget. Take one little nugget. That's it. Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else. I don't have any other questions.
I think we had a good conversation. I mean, I think if people want to continue, I mean, we might have a part 2 when you put this out. If people have questions or
bring us
they
back.
have other topics and they want to bring, Adelaide and Na'tasha back, we're here.
I am with that. I feel like that could happen. Yeah.
Bring us back. Let's talk about something spicy.
Of course.
More spicy.
Something spicy.
You know, I want to.
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said I'm a spicy bitch. I just love, like, some fun ass, just, ooh, that's crazy.
And I am a saucy bitch, so we're here, okay? Period.
I don't know. I think I'm sweet then. If you spicy and you salty, I'm sweet.
Okay. I said saucy. I like sauce.
Oh, saucy. Maybe I'm still sweet.
Yeah, you can be sweet. Yeah,
a little tangy, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
Love that. I guess I was going to do a shameless plug.
Go ahead. Go ahead, do a little shameless plug. Both of y'all. No.
If people were interested in following me, I am Na'tasha. I am at Audacious10 on Instagram. I'm the CEO and founder of Mosaic Masterpiece LLC, where we have a vision to help you masterpiece, to make your life a masterpiece, because we believe that even broken pieces can still create beautiful pictures. And so follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Mosaic Masterpiece. Your girl is building a community. And if you want to go along with my journey of where I am and where I'm trying to be, and also join me in sharing the things that are your broken pieces and trying to put it together to make something beautiful, let's do it together.
That was beautiful.
I don't have any shameless plugs for you, so just follow all of her stuff. Follow all of her stuff. I'm just a little. I don't know what I'm not a butterfly. I'm just kind of just cruising. Like, I don't know.
You're doing great work at the.
You're doing amazing work. Exactly. Don't be downplaying yourself. Don't be downplaying yourself.
I was just gonna say ain't nothing to follow, boo, because the way I don't be posting nothing. The way
Just because it is not on the gram does not mean it does not have impact. If Adelaide does
Exactly.
not want to talk about herself, I will talk about Adelaide, and
Okay.
her founding this initiative and bringing it forth at Miami University, My
Mm-hmm.
Sister's Keeper, which is a intergenerational mentor program for Black women at that institution that is offering peer mentorship where underclassmen are paired with an upper class student to navigate the transition into college from not just an academic space, but also a social space, because we know that students, especially our students of color, have a unique transition into the collegiate experience. And it's often the things that happen outside of the class that end up having our students removed from the educational environment. And so she's doing great work leading that, making sure that there are activities and programs and lessons for these women to pour into each other, and to really leave a lasting legacy at that university, to let these Black women know that they belong, that they are seen, and that there's space for them. So you may not
Yes.
be able to follow her work if you're not at that university, but there is great work being done.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate that. So I guess I can plug MSK. So yeah, if you just so happen to attend Miami University, drop by the CSDI, come check us out. But yes, we definitely have an initiative. We're actually having a photo shoot on Friday.
Ooh, okay.
So wear brown or nude. But yeah, so if you are interested in trying to create something for Black women, no matter whether you're at the college or your job or your church or your high
Mm-hmm.
school, you can do it. I have some pro tips for free. So I
Period.
appreciate that plug that you.
Y'all hit her up. That's what we
I
saying. Y'all
just
hit
be
her
I be
up.
vibing like, well,
Y'all want to be on that wavelength that she vibing on. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all now.
and sometimes the vibe be low. I be
Don't mind, but two weeks later
okay,
I'll holler at you. Just
and it's
And
okay.
that's okay.
It's
That's all
okay,
right. It is okay not to vibe high all the time.
and it's
It
not
really is.
real.
it's
Mm.
not.
It's not
It's not
real to
real.
always be
On.
go happy, go fucking lucky. Sometimes you be
Right.
sad, and that is
Mm-hmm.
okay.
That is
It
all right.
is. Because the thing is, what you have is your gift, and your gift, shout out to Shayla, is not about you. So whether
Mm.
you feel up and high or how you feel, like, is bigger than you. So this gifting remains whether you, no matter how you feel, because it's not really just about you. But people are, as you pour, people need to be compassionate and respectful of that. You can pour when you can, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so if your cup is empty,
Woo.
when that email hits my inbox or that IG DM hits my thing, I'll holler at you when I have the capacity to give you a response, because it will not go unnoticed or unacknowledged. It just may have to take some time.
It's
That is
okay.
all right. That is okay.
And obviously, it was. You have
And
two.
is
Amen.
and will
You
be.
have two celebrities. You
Period.
Facts.
have
Yes, I do.
two A-list celebrities joining you.
Okay.
Have us on something else. We have our group chat, so
Of course.
I can't
I
wait.
actually I'll do a little shameless plug for
Okay,
myself.
you have
Since
to.
y'all done did y'all shameless plugs. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So warriors, for those of y'all who listen and tune in and follow everything that I do on Instagram, which is at officially Queen J, and my TikTok, which is at _ officially Queen J, y'all would know that I have a EP dropping this weekend.
Oh,
Get it, Queen J. Get it, Queen
Yes.
J.
And
Ah.
it is going to be called Lyrical Release. I'm excited to
Ooh.
give that to you guys so y'all can listen to it. It's a podcast showcase where we have different artistries on display
love
to
it.
show how we can heal through the power of creative expression
Hmm.
and through the strength of our vulnerability and the power of our connectivity.
Good.
Thanks for seeing and hearing me, Queen J. Peace. Love y'all.